Nice, eh?
Okay, less heroin.
Man, don't we all know that feeling? Too much heroin? A little too turned up on the little heroin dial, you know? Got a little...
No?
No?
We don't.
Feels like we just saw you guys. Feels like we just saw you. And we did because it's back-to-back episodes of Preacher this week.
That means regularly scheduled Monday nights for Preacher, and you'll see us every Tuesday breaking down the episodes. Be sure to subscribe. Also, follow Buddy Hutton on Twitter and Ryan Eric P on Twitter. Send us your comments, questions. Let's jump into Mumbai Sky Tower, Episode 2 of Preacher Season 2.
That was a lot. You rocked that. That was good. So we pick up right where we left off, with the Saint slowly walking through street lights towards Preacher, and he's trying to use a word, and it's not working. So then the Saint shoots at Preacher, kills a guy. I made fun of the fact that Axel Grease had a delivery truck. We find out why they did it. Obviously, a major metropolitan area isn't going to use that much Axel Grease. Maybe they do. I don't know what the market for Axel Grease is. Anyway, this was a shout out to Axel Alonso. He was a longtime Vertigo editor, and now he's actually editor-in-chief at Marvel Comics. So anyway, I mean, that's really cool, and we missed it. I missed it, and I'm sorry.
But now we caught it, so it's all good. And we actually saw him on Twitter. He tweeted that he loved that little reference, a little shout out that they gave him in the show. But yeah, so the gun convention's going on at the Relax Inn. So Jesse has an army of friends that could shoot at the Saint, and he commands them to do so, but the Saint is the Terminator, and none of the bullets work against him, basically.
All the stuff we thought was going to happen from watching the promo happened. So Tulip is hanging out in the hotel room at the Relax Inn, and we mentioned it last episode, but Tulip was the first one to find out that their town was blown up in a shitstorm. And I mean, we expected it to be a big blow to both of them. So you see them, and it took way less time than I assumed it was going to take. They sit on the bed in the middle of a gunfight, and you see a guy, like a shadow of a guy with a gun, shooting to the right of their hotel room. And I was like, oh my gosh, the Saint's going to come. And then they leave the room and run to the right, and I was like, they're going to run right into him. And that was just weird continuity. The Saint was to the left, the guy was drunk or something.
There's a lot of little background details of people running from the guy from the Saint who's shooting them. Also, to your point, they didn't really have enough time to let it all process. You know, seeing that Anvil was blown up, they're on the run, literally, from the Saint. But a funny moment here, a dude with his arm chopped off is in there trying to get his root beer, obviously in some shock right there. And finally, Jesse uses the word to calm him down and shut him up. Then we get a first hint that the Santa Killers can actually track down Jesse when he uses this power.
Be quiet.
Preacher and fam stop at a gas station. Behind them on the
They
gas
always
station
need a lot of
sign-
gas, by the way.
Well, that car is a gas guzzler.
That's true.
Get a Prius or a
Good point.
Tesla,
Yeah.
guys.
A Prius would be much easier.
And quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could escape the Saint a lot better.
Yeah.
So on the sign at the gas station, we tried to unscramble the words or something. I used a Wheel of Fortune unscrambler. I used Scrabble by line. There's nothing written on that sign.
Let us know if you can make anything out of these words, these letters. It doesn't look like the English language.
There's a MRW, Reddit, my reaction win. My reaction win, I don't know what the hell's written in the background of a show.
Someone who actually might be able to help us here. Someone who actually might know what to do with this bloody cowboy.
If you say Gandalf, I'm going to hit you.
No, I mean, really be able to help us out here.
Guys, another fun Easter egg. You probably noticed this last season, but we got to see it again this year. This shot is from Breaking Bad. Sam Catlin, the showrunner of Preacher, also worked on Breaking Bad. And this is, of course, the John B. Robert Dam that is the same filming location from both shows. Pretty cool to see kind of the intersection of both shows. Maybe Jesse is waiting there.
Jesse's in hell.
No, Jesse's in hell.
So we see Fiore, who is headlining at the Mumbai Sky Tower, which is an Indian casino,
Like India.
but a different kind of Indian. He took over for lounge singer Frank Patel, who he later in the episode goes on a little bit about his love of Frank Sinatra.
Yep.
I loved it that Fiore was doing a Gallagher show, only he was literally killing himself every time.
Yeah, the little splash zone. Everyone had their tarps so they don't get the blood all over the place. pretty hysterical to see him become the main attraction at this Indian casino. But he's miserable. He is completely miserable, and a big part of the reason is because DeBlanc is no longer with him.
So I love it that Fiore sees his relationship with DeBlanc as them being best friends, and all the viewers, and even Cassidy, sees them as being in love. And he's like, no, we're just best friends. And Cassidy's like, yeah, but you guys bang, right? And he's like, what? We just sleep together.
Totally naive, right?
He's just being an angel about the situation.
I also found it interesting that, like, Fiore is basically, he feels like Earth is like his living hell. You know, he hates it there. He does not get it. He's disappointed in a lot of what he sees going around on Earth. And he might as well just be back in hell. Although he does say how bad it is to be down there and he doesn't want to go back down there. He's absolutely miserable. Cassidy does a really good job of, being a BFF in a time of need and kind of getting what he needs, the information, and him to trust him as well.
Turns up the heroin dial.
Yeah, that helps.
Mm-hmm. There's a really dark humor moment in this yes. when a dying kid comes into Ganesh's dressing room.
How do you do it, Ganesh? How do you die then come back to life?
Give away my secret? Nice try, kid. Nice try.
A dying kid asking an angel how he comes back from the dead, and Fiore has no idea, so he's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna tell you my secret, and the kid's like, no.
Extremely dark. Another Easter egg for comic book fans. When we're in the dressing room, we see a poster of Bill Hicks, the late comedian. Obviously, he appeared in issue, I believe, 31 of Preacher. He plays a big role in Jesse's life after having seen him perform live in the comics.
Yeah, Bill Hicks is he kind of has that influence on a lot of people. So it's interesting that they put that in the comic book, because I think that a lot of people consider him to be life-changing the first time they hear him. And it may not apply socially now, but I would go give him a listen. The current political climate is going to be interesting for everyone. If you haven't heard Bill Hicks, go ahead.
Go on in. Make me. Use it. Watch what happens.
That's how he's finding us, isn't it? He's tracking the word.
That's right.
And then we finally get confirmation from Fiore that Jesse, whenever he uses the word, he's gonna get tracked down by the Santa Killers. So he has to be very cautious about who he uses it on, when he uses it, and the fact that a Terminator is basically coming after him and he cannot stop him. So Jesse can't, blatantly go using it as much as he wants to. Fiore does not trust Jesse, obviously we all know this, does not trust him with this power. He does not believe that any human being, anyone should have this power, and that's basically why he's trying to get rid of it and put it back in its little box, from last year.
Let's get married.
Excuse me.
Tulip is against them getting married. They never got married in the comics. I find that a lot of Tulip's personality was revealed in this episode. She starts talking about her uncle, so drunk, and then the one time he put on a suit, it mattered to her. There's gunshots everywhere, and she's sitting on a bed watching the television, and she's fine. This girl has been through a lot of shit, and it's really apparent that she beat someone to death with a line buzzer. What the hell are those things called?
Like a buzzer when you're waiting for your meal at a restaurant?
Meal buzzer.
But for weddings.
Wedding meal buzzer. She beat someone to death with a wedding buzzer.
I can't do this now, Gary. Please. Not today.
Now this character, Gary, and the man on the phone, Victor, they're not in the comics specifically, but Tulip does have a pretty crazy past in the comics. She was hired to take out another person to perform a hit, and she actually did not perform the job, so she's kind of wanted by her former employers. So maybe down the line, once they get into New Orleans and get into some more trouble, we will see these characters pop up again, but it wasn't a specific reference from the comic books.
We all know that Genesis is kind of a tricky thing. Jesse tries to do something good with it, and it always ends up bad. Yeah. So he tells Fiore to find peace, and the only peace that Fiore can find is in death. His love is gone. He hires the Saint for a second job, and the Saint shoots him in the heart. I want you guys to know it was right there. Cute.
Yeah, I found this task by the Santa Killers to be kind of a compassionate thing to do. Like, we didn't really know, he looks like a stone cold killer from what we've seen. In the comics books, obviously, he's filled with hatred that he freezes hell over. But at this moment, he was kind of compassionate in taking Fiore out of his misery. Or maybe there's more to that he commands him and he has no choice but to do it. But, you know, he killed him, and Fiore is obviously thankful for it.
The Saint isn't an evil character at all, dude. The whole reason why his wife and child died is because he went back to help a family that ended up being like these evil people. And that's all inherent. I mean, he has a lot of hatred, but he also is working for angels. So I don't think the Saint is a bad guy. I think that he's trying to put a stop to something that's potentially evil, and he just is kind of a hard ass about it. He's like Clint Eastwood, you know?
Definitely.
Doing good,
there's
but
levels
gruff.
to evil, I guess I would say. And when you're murdering innocent people on the street, there's a question to say if they're innocent or not.
They shot first.
But if they're, the gas station
Also,
guy ripping his
how
tongue out, I mean, that's a little bit
He
evil.
lied. Don't lie. Don't
So
friggin'
if
lie.
you sin around him,
Hold on.
he'll kill you.
One
But
of those
even if you
women
don't,
had a grenade launcher under her gun.
Yeah,
that's
pretty...
not legal. She's an evil woman.
Well, in Texas it might be though.
No. Is it legal to have grenade launchers in Texas? Let us know in the comments.
One question that I have for you and for you guys in the comments: will the word now work on the Saint of Killers now that the two angels that brokered the deal with him are dead? That's a good question. I know that obviously there's a departure from the comic books where Jesse's voice of God does work on the Saint of Killers, but here it's pretty much worthless against him.
Well, I have a question for you, Ryan. What was your favorite part of the episode?
I think we both agree our favorite part was when Cassidy and Fiore are in the fort they made. Who doesn't like making forts?
Forts
and
are
they're
awesome.
Eating ice cream.
Who doesn't like ice
And they're
cream?
talking about...
I'm lactose intolerant. I really wanted to eat that ice cream. They're talking about baby foreskins again. Guys, best part of the episode. Let us know your favorite part of the episode and answer Ryan's crazy question from before in the comments below. We'll get in there and talk to you. Thank you guys a whole bunch. Guys, leave now if you don't want to know what we watched in the episode 3 promo, because we're going to get into it.
If you're still here, the next episode is called Damsels, and it looks like a ton of fun. They are finally getting to New Orleans, and we're gonna meet a bunch of new characters. Not only new characters, but old characters are returning. Buddy's favorite character from season 1,
Arseface.
Arseface, looks like he's gonna be back. And it looks like, I don't know, maybe it's his own personal hell. I know in previews that we've seen a young Hitler as well as Arseface, and it looks like they're kind of in the same setting. It looks like some sort of maximum security prison or something. So will there be conversations between Hitler and Arseface? That's gonna be pretty crazy.
Beautiful.
Also, Cassidy runs into an old friend named Dennis. Now, I don't know if Dennis was in the comic books, but there is a character in the comic books from New York City, Cy Coltrane, who was a journalist, and get this, also a serial killer at night. So he might help them with any leads on finding God. And finally, another character, Featherstone. That's Sarah Featherstone from the comics. She, of course, is the right hand to her star, who is a big bad this upcoming season. We'll dive into him later on when he shows up, but they are a part of the Grail, or in this TV series, Grail Industries. So it's gonna get crazy. It already is crazy, but it's gonna get even crazier.
You're crazy. Guys, you're crazy. You're crazy for sticking around in this video so long. Thank you so much. Guys, give us a subscribe, give us a like. Give
Also,
Ryan Eric P a tweet on Twitter and
I
tell
love
him if he's
tweets.
screwing up.
Yes, let me know if we messed up on anything. Send us any comments, any questions you guys might have. And thanks so much for watching. We will see you next week with episode 3. I still love you.